Hey, it's Mindset Monday. I'm super excited to talk with you guys today, and I hope you had an awesome weekend. I had a really great weekend, a kind of a surprise weekend for me, but it was just so wonderful to spend time with wonderful people, and I didn't expect to have the number of things happening. I had a friend in town, and I had a lot of other stuff happening at the same time with other people in DC as I'm trying to wrap up my time here. And it was just a really great weekend. But prior to the weekend, I had been experiencing a lot of self-doubt. So I want to be clear with you guys that, just because I'm a coach doesn't mean that I don't have my own experience of self-doubt. And particularly that happens in my career. And, being an entrepreneur, something that I've been talking to with a lot of people have been saying to me lately that it takes a lot of guts to do what I do. And I take that point, and I really appreciate that people acknowledge me for that. And I've noticed that it just takes a lot of guts in general to do what you want to do in your career. It's really easy to stay where you currently are and just be in that stability, the ease of knowing exactly what it is, the certainty of it, versus making a choice to do something completely different, or switch jobs, or potentially lose your stability, lose, whatever we think that we're going to lose, right? And what's interesting is that we focus a lot on the loss of it. We focus on what can we lose by leaving this current situation. And oftentimes I realize we don't focus on what we gain. And this has been interesting for me because I've been in this place for the last few weeks as well as I'm preparing to move and make a life change and choose to live in Florida rather than in DC after living in DC for a super long time. And, I've come to realize that this is an important point in my life where I get to choose how I view my own career and how I view leaving here. Because a lot of people are saying, well, DC is such a career-driven city. Why would you ever leave it when you're a career coach? And I get that. I totally get that. And my experience has been that I really need to follow my heart, and my heart's saying that it's time for a change and just time to have an adventure of some other kind. And I've been DC was my adventure 9 years ago when I moved to this city, and it's been an adventure all along. And now I'm looking for a new adventure, which I'm super excited to do. And I have a lot of fear that and self-doubt coming up around it, being like, can I really do this? So the can I really do this is a great question to think about, and something that I talked about with my own coach. And I wanted to bring it up with you because this is something that comes up for a lot of people. The can I really do this question is a big question for a lot of us when we're choosing to pursue something new and different that we've never done before, and that feels really uncertain, whether it's moving to another country, starting like an education or training program, starting a new job, moving cities. I mean, there's so many, people do this with life changes also. People who I've recently noticed this with my friends who have gotten pregnant. They're not sure what kind of parent they're going to be. Can they really do that as a parent? People have gotten into new relationships. Can I be the significant other that I really want to be? This comes up in so many areas of people's lives, and the can I really do this question is a really hard one to be with, because when we say that to ourselves, we've kind of already set ourselves up to not get what we really want. We plant that doubt in our minds, saying that we may not be capable. This may not work out for us. And it's an interesting thing to do, because then how do we react to, stuff that happens in that part of our lives? So I'm going to describe this in my career. So I'm thinking about it a lot in terms of my move. Can I really do this? Can I continue servicing clients that I coach through, in-person workshops in DC, while still being in Florida. And how do I do that effectively? And that's that's just one small piece. And I wanted to give you a concrete example because I think it's easier to follow with a concrete example. And here's the thing, like I've always been successful at things have always worked out for me, but there is this moment of fear and doubt that I create for myself by saying, I'm not really sure if I can do this. And I launch myself into an energy where I'm much more focused on, not feeling awesome and having my brain focused on not creating the space and the possibility of what I want to create. It's kind of like it's seeing the obstacle rather than seeing what I want to do, and focusing on the obstacle instead of what's my goal, right? And when you focus on that obstacle over your goal, your energy is put all into the obstacle and not into the goal. So when I do that, I don't focus on, well, what do flight patterns look like? What's possible for me? What can I negotiate around? Instead, I'm saying, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. I really don't know how I'm going to handle this. Oh my gosh, I'm so scared. I don't know how to handle this. And I'm repeating that to myself over and over again. So my energy is kind of it's like I'm spinning my wheels on the obstacle when there's not much I can do about the literal obstacle. But what I have a lot of power over is saying, I'm going to do this because this is really what I want. And reminding myself that everything I've ever done, I've been successful at. And I don't mean that as we don't all experience failures, I mean, failures I think is actually a very powerful part of our experience and an important aspect of our lives because we learn from our mistakes. We learn from what we do. And not everything has worked out for me. It's not like I apply to every single job and get it, right? That's not the way that works. I've applied to many jobs and have had many interviews where I've never landed the job. But when I have landed the job, I've landed the job that I really wanted. So I get some practice through an interview. I get some practice through submitting an application through the networking process. And that's all the stuff that I need to land the job that I really want. And the same thing goes for anything else I do in my career or in my life. Just because something doesn't work out doesn't mean that it was a failure. You're on your path to get to where you really want to be. And, in the grand scheme of life, things have worked out for you. Things have worked out for me. And the question is, are we going to choose to look at it that way and remind ourselves of that in our moments of self-doubt? Because you can choose to focus on what you think are your failures and say, well, you may not say that those are lessons learned if you focus on them. Instead, you'll say, what if that happens again? Well, what would happen if it happens again? It's actually not really a very big deal if something doesn't work out, right? Because it's again another lesson for you along your path to where you really want to be. But people tend to forget that, including me, because in that moment I am so focused on the fear of whatever it is, fear of failure in this case, that I forget that this is my lesson. This is part of my journey, and that's okay. So I think I've really been thinking about this a lot the last couple weeks as I prepare for this move. And what I've really found is that, I'm shifting out of the energy of what can I really do this? And instead saying to myself as a mantra, everything I've ever done has been a success. Everything has led me to success. And it might not be what I originally said I wanted, but I do end up leading myself to success in a different way. So when you start refocusing your energy, then you're clearing the space within your mind to say, okay, I can do this again. I can do this. It's like the little engine that could, right? If the little engine that could said to himself, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this, then he wouldn't have continued, right? But instead he said, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. So let's start with that thinking process instead. Let's get to I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, because that's exactly where I am. That's exactly where probably many of you are, because you know my you're with me for a reason, right? And I think the things that I experience are very similar. Like I think the way I see it is what happens with me is a powerful thing to share with you because it's probably happening for more people than just me. This has been my experience through a lot of team experiences as well. And people tend to hide the ugly negative stuff or the scary stuff because they're afraid that they're the only ones. But I'm here to tell you it's okay. It's going, we all experience self-doubt, and sharing it with one another actually makes a much more powerful story. And then we get to clear it out and say, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. So for your mindset, if you can start shifting out of can I do this to I think I can, it's going to change a lot of your energy around self-doubt and around what's possible for you today, tomorrow, and the next day. So let me know how that feels for you to think about it from that place, because it's really shifted how I've been feeling. And I still have my moments of self-doubt. There's no way of getting rid of it. But what I have found is that when I choose to pay attention to I think I can rather than can I do this, it helps. It makes me feel better. I go through my day in a much more powerful way. And I want to invite you to do the same with me. So chew on that today. Let me know if you have questions on it. Comment in this thread. It would mean a lot to me to hear from you on this because the I think I cans, I think, are really important right now. And I really want to see how that can help you. Love you guys. Bye.